Welcome back to Pop Tabs, keeping tabs on all your pop culture news. I'm your host, Matthew Yapp, and joining me today is...
TT Shinkan.
And...
Phil Akin.
Thank you guys so much for being here. Phil, you're usually a video editor.
Well, yeah. I guess so.
Great. And TT, what do you do?
Graphics.
Graphics. They're so well spoken.
Wonderful.
You know what's not as well? That was a weak transition, but Handmaid's Tale is really making some moves because there was recently a Halloween costume released from it, and it's a slutty version of the Handmaid's Tale nun gown. And why some people think it's offensive to make a slutty version of that is Handmaid's Tale is set in a dystopian future where women are owned by the government for their bodies. So it's a little weird to make something sexy out of that.
Yeah.
But what are you guys' thoughts on that? Are you down? Is this what you're wearing for Halloween?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
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 Glad we're all gonna match because that'll be cute.
Yeah, TT and I are going.
Oh,
as
yeah,
Handmaid's Tale
totally.
together.
No, why do you think people are so upset by this?
Well, because what you said, it's dystopian where like women are being owned and everything, and it's kind of like a slap in the face for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing if this were like, I don't know, Walking Dead, sure. If it was like
Sexy zombie.
Yeah, sure. If it was sexy zombie, but that would be okay, or I guess better.
be
than
it would be
Handmaid's
better.
Tale. Not necessarily okay, but better than Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole the whole point of this show is that these girls are essentially being raped.
Yeah.
And so why would you make a slutty costume about that?
Because it's popular.
Well, when me and you looked it up yesterday, there was an even sluttier costume of it. So, yeah, I agree with Phil. This is not okay. Like,
Now,
why is this a thing?
in the defense of this costume, it's not a new thing that we make slutty versions of everything for Halloween.
Yeah.
Which also, I'd like to be clear, I think slutty is kind of a rude term. And you know, you can wear whatever you like, but it's meant to be slutty.
It has it on the package.
Yeah, it says it right there.
It's slutty Handmaid's Tale. But, so like, we make like slutty costumes for like nuns and priests and all these different types of like costumes that you wouldn't normally think of as a slutty thing. I, the other day, was looking and I found slutty grapes, which was, yeah. It was literally just like 3 grapes and you can imagine where they're placed. And so, like, I don't know, we make everything slutty, so why is this, like, really that big of a deal? Like, compared to, like, a nun to this, you know?
I feel like if you're doing like a nun or anything like that, it's kind of a joke. Almost. Like, I was reading one of these articles and they mentioned how there's like a slutty Finding Nemo.
Yes.
I saw it.
Like, I feel like would just be a joke. Like, it's not intended to, you're not actually going out as like a slutty Nemo. You're doing it at like a costume party that's like supposed to be a funny costume party.
Okay.
And so with that kind of stuff, I feel like it's more okay. But going back to Handmaid's Tale, it's not okay because of the subject matter that the show covers.
Yeah.
Even if they're joking about it?
I feel like that. Well, now you're getting into James Gunn territory, which is a bit risque.
Well,
A little bit.
No, it's just, there's slutty Halloween costumes.
Yes.
And then there's this, and like you said, the subject matter,
Yeah.
it's like, I've never seen Handmaid's Tale, so like
Right.
I'm just basing it off of like what I've like read and stuff. But like it's about like women being owned by the government to do, is it sexual?
It's childbearing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not okay. I'm sorry, but like it's not okay. Oh dear. But just why? I understand they were like making it like probably to be funny and like probably like to get the cash and
I'm
stuff.
assuming they're
Super
doing
popular.
it just for shock value. I don't.
Maybe.
I'm not sure they're actually planning on selling that many. But if people are
Oh,
going
I'm
to see
sure
this,
someone's bought it.
well, I'm sure. But
Oh.
if people are going to see this, they're going to see their other products, and they might
Okay.
buy some of those
Yeah.
rather than buy it.
If you know, like their slutty Handmaid's Tale and look at that,
Well,
maybe you want to be a slutty grape.
The thing is, like,
I
people
do.
are buying this though.
Yes.
Like, and that's the whole reason people keep making this kind of stuff is because people keep buying it.
Well, that's kind of a very popular thing is I was reading an article that was specifically offensive Halloween costumes you can wear this year. And so I think because of the times we live in, people like to be offensive right now.
Yeah.
They think it's funny, they enjoy doing it. And so I think maybe, I don't know if they didn't actually plan on selling them. I think they did, and I just think the way they thought is the best way to do that is take a show that's about forcing women to bear children and turn it into a slutty thing. And they, like you said, kind of almost at a shock value, but just to sell them out of shock value.
Yeah.
One of the other ones I saw that was very popular in 2017 was dressing up as a Boston Marathon victim, which was just a jogger uniform covered in blood and soot. So
I saw that.
yes, you can see that people like to wear offensive things. Halloween is not uncommon for wearing.
No.
I would say we've talked about the issue of wearing like Native Americans, like wearing a headdress and being a slutty Indian. I knew a party here on campus that was, it was supposed to be cowboys for the men, and they called it Navajos for the women, where all the girls are just dressed like slutty Indians. So why do you think Halloween has gotten to this point where the main goal is to be slutty or offensive?
I think it just goes back to like, Halloween is like that time of year where like you can dress up as like anything you want to be. Like you can be anything your little heart sets your mind to.
Oh, I'm gonna dress like I'm happy. Always wanted that.
Okay. But like, I think it's just like, normally if you go out in these like outfits, these like revealing outfits, it's not society's norm per se. I mean, you can dress however you want. I don't care.
But you'll get less weird looks.
Exactly. So like Halloween is like I said, this one time of year where like it's okay to dress like this. It's okay like to, I guess, dress offensive. This is from someone, this is from someone who's always dressed modestly and stuff. I still dress modestly, but like, I don't know.
Halloween.
Yeah, I've always felt like Halloween was kind of supposed to be offensive. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're kind of built on like pagan rituals and stuff, like you're going to be offensive to people no matter what.
Yeah.
And over the course of time, it's just kind of, I guess, evolved into just being offensive in the terms of what you wear for the day.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So I guess they're just kind of playing into that.
Okay.
And they're just feeding, giving people what they want, I guess, nowadays.
Yeah. I don't know. I've always kind of seen it as like, this is the way to make it like adult, if that makes sense. Because like, Halloween's, it's supposed to be like a children's holiday, more or less. And how do I take it from being like a kid's thing to being an adult thing? And you know what adults do? They are slutty and like to offend people.
It's the more of like late teens, 20s people who want to. My mom's a kindergarten teacher, by the way. She does not like when there's Halloween parties. Like, I'm gonna be a witch. I'm gonna be Minnie Mouse. She's always Minnie Mouse because Disney. But yeah, it's more of like our age group.
Yeah.
A little older, and then like maybe a little younger.
Yeah, I would say I remember in high school when you're like 16 and 17, everyone, because they're coming into themselves sexually, they are so excited when Halloween comes around. They're gonna be like very mean girls. Like, I'm a mouse, but they're really just in like a small gray skirt and like mouse ears.
That brings up, talking about Mean Girls, there is actually a song in the musical called Sexy where Karen sings about sexy Halloween costumes, and it's literally one of my favorite songs. So yeah, go give that a listen.
TT is a proprietor of Sexy Halloween is what we've learned.
I'm really not, but you do you, man.
I'm gonna be a sexy mouse for Halloween.
I'm a mouse, duh.
But should, in your guys' opinion, because like you talked about, it's meant to be a kid thing, do you think it should be more of a children's thing and should be kind of safe for work, or do you think Halloween is open to everyone to be offensive and sexual if they so see fit?
I mean, you can dress however you want, just be cautious of like your costume and like just think about, okay, I'm gonna dress as this. Who is this gonna offend though?
Yeah.
Like you can dress as, like, if you wanna dress as, like, cause I'm gonna go as Star-Lord. Obviously, Star-Lord's a guy. I'm a woman.
Offensive.
Sure. But you can dress however you want. Even like any character, any person. just be cautious. Like the Boston bomber victim.
That's a lot.
That's a little too much. Like Hitler is never okay. Like it's never okay.
I'm glad we've
please.
established that Hitler is never
was
okay.
never okay.
I'm just saying that because it was on that list of like
It
the
was.
Halloween costumes.
Yes.
Just like anything that is offensive, like normally, please don't dress like that.
Yeah.
But dress as anything else.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in like free will.
Yeah.
So I don't really
Yes.
care what you do as long as you're not like harming someone physically. But that being said, there's a time and place for this kind of stuff. So if you're out with like your
strip bar.
kids going, yes, it's a strip bar. But if you're out with like your kids doing like trick or treating, then
Yeah.
dress appropriately for that. But if you're going to like an adult house party,
Yeah.
then do whatever you want for that.
Think of the kids.
Think of the kids.
I think, I'm kind of with Phil, do whatever you like, you know, do you. I would just like to, the thing I always think about is you need to remember that there is a day after Halloween. So if you want to wear your like slutty Indian costume or you want to go for like blackface, which was very popular in 2016 and 17, haven't seen too much this year. But if you want to wear something like that, please remember that when this is all over, those pictures will end up on Facebook and you still
Yeah.
have a job and friends and people who have to respect you. So that's my...
Yeah, if your goal for the day is to be offensive, then okay.
Yeah.
It might get you kicked out of parties.
Yeah.
And you know, it might lose
And
some
just
friends
remember
in the
that
process.
people stay offended after
Yeah.
Halloween. But you know who else is offended right now?
What?
A lot of Republicans. See, Taylor Swift, our good friend, she recently revealed her political views. She spoke out about throwing support to Democratic candidates in Tennessee right ahead of the midterm elections. And this is a bit of an anomaly because in the past, Taylor Swift has been very adamant that she
Yes.
won't show any of her political views. She even caught some flack for it in 2016 during the election because people said that she should speak out, and she said she didn't want to isolate anyone, and so she just chose not to. But she's changed her mind, and now she's speaking out for Democratic candidates. The National Republican Senatorial Committee, however, spoke out and said that she was speaking from an ivory tower and that in no way can she really relate to normal people, so she shouldn't tell them how to vote. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
I feel like it's kind of petty
Yeah.
of them to do
A
that.
little bit, yeah.
Like she's voicing her opinion like any free will American can
Yeah.
do, and then they're just like, oh yeah, who are you to talk? You're rich. You can't say what hard work is, you know? You
Said
know
all the
what work-
rich Republican senators.
exactly.
Well, I went and I read the Instagram post
Yes.
like multiple times just so I can like clearly understand like what she was saying. Yes, like she did like come out and say that she is voting for the two Democratic candidates for Tennessee, but she also said like not everyone's going to be 100% sure on like their political views or their political party.
Yes.
So like I don't see like cuz she's basically saying you don't really have to be 100% for one thing or like 100% for the other. Cuz that's like literally that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I'm not 100%. I'm like in the middle about everything. So like
I'm 100% Green Party, you know? They have such a chance at winning.
yeah.
I'm just no party at all.
Yeah, you're
Exact-
a real
yeah.
party killer, Phil.
Yeah, I am.
But like I don't it feels like cuz she didn't I don't understand why they're getting that angry. Cuz all she did was just like I'm going to vote for these people.
Well,
And then just read her post and she's just saying you can just vote for whoever you
Right.
like matches your views.
yeah. Do you think part of the reason, because I do, that they're so angry is because even though she said vote for whoever you want, she said that she's voting for Democratic candidates? Because I feel like had she been like, I'm voting for the Republican candidates, they would have never mentioned this ivory tower and they wouldn't have been attacking Taylor Swift for this.
Well, I'm going to look at it from like I try to look at everything from like numerous sides of views.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
why I looked up like the Republican nominee that she was like bashing.
Yeah.
I just wanted to like look up and like just be like, what does she say about this? So
Right.
like I just saw that. I forgot where I was going with this. But like
Taylor Swift.
yeah.
as she
Oh
said,
yeah.
Republican.
I feel like it would have been the other way around.
Democrats
like,
would have been
The
angry.
Democrats would have been angry. It's just, all in all, I feel like there's really not like you can't make everyone happy.
Yeah. What do you think, Phil? Had this been a flip side, would people be mentioning this ivory tower had she supported the Republicans?
I don't know if it would be quote unquote ivory tower
Yeah.
specifically, but definitely something along those lines. I don't know that the Democrats would have fired back the way the Republicans did. They probably would have handled it a little differently. I'm not saying they would have handled it better, but they would have done something different. But largely, when it comes down to it, I think it would be the same message, more or less.
Yeah.
So no matter what, people would be attacking her, because people attack celebrities all the time for viewing
Oh,
their
yeah.
like political opinions and stuff. So.
Do you think there's validity in that? Do you think the whole idea that like Taylor Swift shouldn't speak on politics because she's not a working class member, do you think there's any validity in there?
No, because she's still a citizen.
She's
of
still a
this
voting
country,
citizen.
and she has voting rights.
Yeah.
So.
I do get it, because obviously everyone has a right to vote.
Yes.
But a lot of what the Republicans are saying about she's detached, she doesn't understand people, so she can't really understand their problems. I do get that, because I think there's a decent amount to be said that the 1% in America speaks a lot for the 99%.
Yeah.
But that is a larger issue. And what I also say on that, though, is pretty much every politician, I think, is also just as removed. So do I think Taylor Swift shouldn't speak out? No. Do I think that's a grander issue that needs to be resolved via anarchy? Maybe. I'm not promoting it, saying it's an option. But this actually did spark a lot of conversation surrounding celebrities and politics. What responsibility do you think a celebrity has towards politics? Should they speak out since they have such mass influence? Should they avoid it because they don't want to isolate fans? How do you feel about it?
This brings up one of my favorite interviews. It's from Dolly Parton. I love Dolly Parton.
Love Daley.
She was being interviewed. Yeah, she was being interviewed on, I think it was ABC, one of their little news things, and one of the guy was trying to get her opinions on the president, and she's like, I'm not going. I don't want to say my political views. I have my own views, but they're not for anyone to know. I'm a role model. I don't want anyone. And he's like, but you are a role model. Why don't you want anyone to know your views? She's like, I don't want to offend anyone because I have a huge fan base who are all different. Everyone has their own views. I don't want to offend any one of those. So that's why I'm not speaking out my political views directly. So that's I love that, because it's just she's a celebrity and she understands that not everyone is going to have the same views as her, and not everyone is going to agree with her, but she doesn't want to make anyone upset.
So you're kind of on the way Taylor Swift used to be, that you think that celebrities maybe should just kind of keep their political views to themselves.
I do, because then it's just one less person for everyone to just be well, you're gonna hate them, or I like them now, I didn't like them before.
Yeah. That's valid.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Philly?
My thoughts are they can talk about it if they want to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's their free will.
Yeah.
But if their fans and their followers are going to vote based off of their favorite celebrities' opinions, then I don't know that they should be voting.
Yeah.
If they're getting their political viewpoints from a celebrity, then they're not thinking for themselves. They're just saying whatever their idol is saying. And so at that point, I don't know. I guess that's more on the people themselves, because celebrities, they're still people, and they can still voice their opinions. And I understand celebrities may not want to I guess I don't know what the word for is. You keep saying isolate, and I guess that's a good word. Isolate their fan base.
Alienate.
Yeah. I don't know where I was going with that. That was fun. I just lost my train of thought.
It's a good train.
Yeah,
Boy,
it was.
same.
I feel I think celebrities have almost a responsibility
Yes.
to speak about politics, because I really do feel if you look, people they turn to their idols, unfortunately. I wish they'd research for themselves, but people don't. And I think Taylor Swift, the way she did it, was very good.
It was pretty professional how she did it.
She didn't just say, I'm voting for this person because I like them, and you should too. She laid out the facts. She said, this is why I support this person.
Yeah.
This is why I think they're a good candidate. And there you go. And so if celebrities provide people with information rather than just, I'm voting blue, I think it's helpful, because people don't go and look for political information on their own. They look to Twitter, and I think half the people who vote, honestly, are just I saw on Twitter that this guy wants to euthanize all the cats in America. I buy that. And so I think that if people aren't looking anyways, at the very least a celebrity might get them slightly informed.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really genuinely important for a celebrity to speak out.
Yeah, as long as it's in like her manner, like very respectful, and just be like, I'm voting for them, I'm voting for this specific party because of this, but you can vote for whoever you want that matches your views. Because that's just kind of a more professional way to do it, instead of just being like, I'm voting for them because I hate them because of this, and just like not a good
That's how
reason.
I vote.
Okay.
I keep a little book every day, and I'm just like, all right, this guy made me mad. In 2
know
years,
what?
I'm gonna not vote for him. Matt Yapp loves a grudge.
If people are gonna give their opinions, like celebrities are gonna give their opinions, then they need to have like a disclaimer. I feel like they can give what they view, but they need to say, go do your own research. Because if they're not, then at that point, they're just like those signs you see in people's front yards. Like people base their votes off those signs that they see.
Yeah.
They don't do research themselves. They're like, oh, like there's a dozen of these signs, so I'm just gonna vote for this guy.
The Johnsons are voting for Nixon. Why shouldn't I?
Exactly.
My next door neighbor is voting for this person.
Right.
I like my next door neighbor, I'll vote for them.
And that's essentially what celebrities are doing, though. They're like, I'm voting for this guy. And they're not saying, like, you should too,
Yeah.
but they're also not saying you go do your own research and think for yourself.
So what we're saying is, if you don't only listen to celebrities, then we could get another Richard Nixon, and that could be kind of fun.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, might as well at this
I
point.
wasn't alive during the first one.
Yeah, I deserve to be around for that. But kind of what you said, though, is how much do you think we should actually take a celebrity's opinions? Like, do you look at them as at the same level as anyone else, their opinion, or do you think they have a little more validity, a little less? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think they have any less validity. I think it just depends on the way they go about saying it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Taylor Swift did it right,
She
but
did.
I'm sure, I mean, I don't know of a celebrity off the top of my head who's done it wrong, but I'm sure there's been plenty of them out there.
Cardi B.
Cardi B, okay, I'll take your word on that. So Cardi B needs to like step up her game and actually do it right.
And release a better album.
Yeah, well, never mind.
That's more
Never
important.
mind.
TT, what do you think validity-wise?
I agree with Phil.
That
on
Cardi
it.
B needs a better album?
I don't
She's
listen
a better
to Cardi,
career,
I don't
honestly.
listen to that music. But I mean, yeah, like if you like a person, sure, you can like take into account like their like ideas and stuff, but also again, do your own research and like don't let one person's views dictate how you think. Talk to different people. That's what I do. I talk to different people that don't necessarily like agree with like my views, but I'm like, I want to know why this person thinks this way. I want to know why this person like likes this person.
Yeah.
So like try to talk to everyone and don't like just listen to one voice.
Right. No, I think that, I don't know, celebrities I feel like are just as smart as anyone else. So their opinions are
They're
just as
human.
valuable as anyone else. I don't think that they have more, or should have more of a say or less of a say.
Yeah.
I just think it's what it is. But you know who's not as smart as some people?
Me.
James Gunn and TT.
Oof.
Yeah, James Gunn made a mistake. A handful. Several
handful.
handfuls.
Several thousands of handfuls.
So James Gunn was fired from Disney. He is a former director of the Guardians of the Galaxy series, and he was removed because he had a lot of tweets that could be considered distasteful. Now, in Gunn's defense, they are all from his past, but Disney still decided to let it go, namely because a lot of the jokes were about pedophilia, which tends to turn people off a little bit. But the reason we're talking about him again is because he is now in talks to direct and possibly write the sequel to Suicide Squad. So, what are your thoughts on
There's
this?
gonna be a sequel.
Well, from what I've read, it's actually a reboot, not a sequel. Like he has
What?
full reign to like recast the characters if he
What?
wants to. So
Keep Jared Leto.
Let's not.
Keep him.
no, please.
Anyways, what are your thoughts on the James Gunn aspect?
I think it's good. I think it's
Yeah.
good because I mean, I'll play devil's advocate a little bit here. I think it was kind of crappy of Disney to fire him because they knew full well what his past was like before they hired him. He knew his his pre-Disney work and stuff, and they still chose to hire him. And so firing him once it became public, which has always been public, it's just that now all of a sudden more people are aware of it. I think it was really crappy for them to fire him just because of that when they're equally as fault for hiring him in the first place, I feel like. And so now he's a great writer, director, and he just needs to be given a chance by another studio, and Warner Bros. Has given him that chance now. Yeah. And so I think he can redeem himself. I think he'll redeem Suicide Squad, definitely.
I think he'll redeem like a lot of the
DC.
Honestly,
redeem DC.
I agree with you. I like James Gunn. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, like that entire like franchise is my favorite. I mean, hence why I'm Star-Lord. But I feel like he's going to do justice to Suicide Squad. Because I honestly did not know any of these like tweets was happening until like we talked about it on Slack. But I still respect him. I still like his work. He does phenomenal work. I think he's gonna do pretty well with and redeem Suicide Squad and make it pretty good for me to actually go and see it this time.
I saw it in theaters.
Same.
We made
that was a
you
choice.
Poor souls.
I, on the other hand, I will say James Gunn is a fantastic writer and a fantastic director, and I do not think he should be heading Suicide Squad at all.
Okay.
No, I find everything he said to be disgusting and incredibly offensive, and I don't think somebody who fairly unapologetically says all those things, and like I'm not going to even repeat what James Gunn has said because it's really, really disgusting things.
I didn't even see any of the tweets, so I have no idea.
Yes.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take your guys' word for it.
Yeah, and so I don't think somebody like that deserves the job. And yes, Disney hired him knowing his past, but I don't think it's impossible to fathom that when that gets drug into the light, that's something that's going to get you fired.
Right, but it was never hidden, I guess, to begin with. Because like all of his pre-Disney work, like directing-wise and writing-wise, is the same stuff as his tweets for the most part. It's shock humor. It's not funny, honestly, because for shock humor to work, it needs to have humor.
Yeah.
And so it's not funny, and so it falls flat pretty much every single time. Yeah. But that being said, it was never like a secret that this is how he was or how he is.
Correct. And again, I wouldn't have hired him in the first place, but that doesn't mean I'm upset that he was hired and then fired. I think he got his run, he got his 2 movies, he got quite a bit of money from them.
They were fantastic movies, by the way.
Yes, and so he got what he needed, so I don't see an issue with letting him go now. I do think that, like, sure, people always knew, but now the public are upset about it. I think that's a perfectly justified reason to fire him.
It's just Disney saving face at this point.
Do I think Disney actually cares? No.
No.
I think Disney cares about their profits.
They care about keeping that, like, PG-13 family-friendly thing.
Yeah.
And so even though they chose to go with him in the first place.
They have a reputation, and that reputation is PG-13 family-friendly. So having someone on board that's, in the past, not made PG-13 family-friendly tweets or said stuff does not look good for them. So, like you said, they want that profit.
I think the only bad thing at this point in terms of like Disney and James Gunn is that they're still using like his script for Guardians 3, and at that point, then it becomes way more Disney's fault, I feel like.
That's not okay.
No.
I still love Disney.
No, he was planning like
okay.
all of the space stuff for Marvel, and they just booted him, and so now that's essentially gone back to scratch outside of Guardians 3, if that movie is even going to happen at this point.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I mean, Dave Bautista has been pretty vocal about like not coming back if James Gunn doesn't come back.
Yes. Now, that being said, James Gunn can almost be removed from the equation. Just a general question. Do you think an artist's work excuses their actions?
No.
If somebody produces good work, well, then why do you think James Gunn is good then?
I'm not saying he's necessarily good. Like, I don't think he's that good of a person, but he does good work. Okay. And I can separate that.
Okay.
Because I've seen his old stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like his old stuff
at
all. But I like the Guardians. I'm wearing a Star-Lord jacket. Like, I have a functioning Star-Lord helmet and everything. So, like, I would say I'm a pretty big fan of at least the first Guardians movie.
Yeah, the second one was just okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, I can separate the art from the artist because there's a lot of stuff. There's like a lot of bands I like, for example, who I don't necessarily agree with, like maybe their political views or something.
Yeah.
But I still like their music.
Okay.
I'll still listen to it.
Like, I'm a nice person, but my art stuff sucks. So like, if you can like separate me from like my bad art to like me as a person.
I wish I could, TT.
Oh well. But yeah, I do have to agree, like, that you have, like, sometimes, because like he is a good director, but what he said in the past is not okay. I don't know how he is now.
Right.
Because I don't know the guy personally. I wish I did, but I don't. But it's all about just, I don't know.
It's just about that, you know? No, I wish I could separate artists from their actions. I personally can't.
That's okay.
My thing is now, if I watch Guardians of the Galaxy, I just sit there and think about those tweets and all the things he said. I can't.
Okay, I can see that because like when I watch
Yeah.
Baby Driver and other Kevin Spacey stuff, okay, I can kind of see that.
I
where
wish
you're
I
coming
could
from
still watch House of Cards.
Yeah.
But I can't. No, yeah. For me, it's just I can't stop thinking about the things they've done or said when I'm looking at
Okay.
their content. So it does sort
Yeah.
of, not even by choice, but it just personally.
And even
ruins
there's
things
other
for me.
things like last time I read about H.P. Lovecraft, he was a pretty big like xenophobe.
Yeah.
But people still draw like heavy inspiration from all of his like lore and stuff.
Yeah, we love
But
Cthulhu.
Yeah, we love H.P. Lovecraft and Cthulhu and everything that he's done, but we don't necessarily talk about like all his
Right.
racism and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Honestly, praise Cthulhu.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. But now that DC has picked them up, I understand why DC picked them up. I think it was kind of almost a publicity grab as
I think
well.
so.
They got what's his face? Avengers dude. Joss Whedon.
Yes.
They got Joss Whedon already.
Yeah.
So
So really, it's a shocker. DC is picking up Marvel scraps. Who's surprised? But I do completely understand that if a talented writer who has performed incredibly well, he's made great movies,
Yeah.
is now out in the open. I'm not surprised they took him. But do you think it's going to pay off for DC?
It depends on how good this next movie
I was about to say that also. How good is their current cinematic universe, though? That's the
Yeah.
problem. Like,
There's a good movie in it.
there is
And it's
a good
Wonder
movie.
Woman.
Yes.
Yeah, Wonder Woman's the only one.
That's the only
I
one.
saw.
Now, if you have like, I don't know if Suicide Squad 2 is supposed to be like the reboot or the soft reboot for the franchise, or if it's like the new jumping point like Iron Man was.
Yeah.
If it's that, then I could see it becoming more successful because, I mean, the first Suicide Squad was trying to copy the first Guardians, was essentially, like with the soundtrack and everything,
Okay.
and the Misfit group. That's essentially what it is. So I think they knew what they were doing, bringing on James Gunn. Whether or not it'll pay off because it's ultimately DC, I don't know. They've got some hits, honestly. Wonder Woman.
Oh, yeah.
They've
That's
got
a
a
good
lot
movie.
more misses. So
Every other movie.
Every single
Yeah.
other movie,
Justice League.
except for The Dark Knight.
Dark Knight was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the people who chose Ezra Miller to be the Flash.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, just add an explosion here to like show how angry I am. Because Ezra Miller's not the Flash. He's not a good Flash. Why was Grant Gustin not chosen? I don't know, Phil. That's a great question. Why, TT? Why is he not blonde? I don't know.
They killed off Wolverine.
That wasn't DC.
I know.
But we can blame DC for it.
Yeah, why did DC do that? So, I don't think that they'll be able to do well.
No.
I think even with all the right tools, because DC has a beautiful like arrangement of tools they could use.
They have a great cast of characters.
They do.
Yeah.
They seem to just instead prefer taking a nail in a rock and going for it, though.
I don't know. James Gunn, I mean, he did bring Guardians of the Galaxy to the spotlight.
He did.
And they even like greenlit the second one before the first one had come out.
Yeah.
No one knew who the Guardians were.
Exactly.
Except for like hardcore comic fans. I kind of vaguely knew who they were, but no one knew who they were.
I was like, I love Tree Guy. Who doesn't want him?
I
on
am
TV?
Tree Guy.
A classic.
I am Tree Boy.
But do you think it's going to affect the movie and box office? All this kind of, we'll say negative spotlight right now.
Honestly, it might. Just because there are some people out there who are like, I mean, I don't like him because of like what he said. So like honestly, I think it might. But then there's also people like me who's like completely clueless about everything that's happened. Will I see Suicide Squad? No, but I I mean, I might, because if it looks good,
Yeah.
I might go and see it. I might, because I usually forget who's directing it. Who's directing movies.
That's pretty fair.
Honestly, I just go see movies because I like the people acting in it. I don't see it because of the director, unfortunately.
I'm so excited for Chris Pratt to be the Joker.
I love Chris
Oh, boy.
Pratt.
We laugh.
Dave Bautista's the new Batman.
We laugh, but that's going to happen. But what are your clothing thoughts on this or anything else we talked about today?
I don't think Suicide Squad will do well, not because of James Gunn, just because of
It's
DC.
Suicide Squad.
It's DC in general, which is a shame, but I don't think it'll do well.
Yeah.
No. What the hell were we talking
Go
about?
with sexy corn this Halloween.
There you go.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, yeah, Phil, come on. Actually,
Oh.
there's like sexy every
I
vegetable,
want to
really.
be a sexy
I'm not
hot
surprised.
sauce bottle.
After you said sexy grapes, I'm. What did I expect?
People like
Well-
sexy grapes.
I think DC's doomed. I think, be sexy if you feel good about yourself. And I think Reputation was actually a pretty okay album. We were all mean to Taylor Swift. It was good. It was better than we thought.
Sparks Fly is my favorite.
It's been a few years, but that's fair, TT. But thank you guys for joining me. I've been your host, Matthew Yapp, and thanks for watching.
I didn't read it.
Are we gonna like zoom in?
Phil is my only friend.
Okay.
We are all just hot children that have been abandoned in the car that is the universe. Thank you guys for joining me. I've been Matthew Yapp.
And cut.
Can you introduce Phil as Daddy Phil?